I'm 108. It's my room number. That's how I'm referred to around here by the caregivers, med-aides, nurses, the staff people, talking to one another about me. It's that way with every resident. When I say here, I mean one of the assisted living facilities in my community. The acronym is ALF. I do have a non-numerical identity too. My name is Dick. That's what my friends in the real world call me, but Richard is the preferred use in the ALF. I can see why a room number replaces a name in the world of ALFs. It protects people's privacy, unless you've been living here a while and know who's in which room. However, I don't mind if other residents know my pain pill dose has been changed, or I use fiber. Most people here do, to regulate their GI system. Anyhow, that's a conversation starter among residents. Most old people like to talk about their bowels. I especially would want my friends and people at my dining table to know if I'm sick, even dying. They're my friends and they care about me. They shouldn't be rebuffed when they ask after me. Too often, administrators refer to HIPAA, the acronym for the Health Insurance Portability Protection Act, and residents are blocked in their inquiry to learn about an absent friend. I wonder if other residents feel the same as me. I only speak for myself. In the next several minutes, I'll take you on a personal journey through parts of my days at an ALF and how I think and feel about how I live. This is strictly me, a person who's always been engaged in life, physically, intellectually, creatively. Now I find my independent spirit curtailed, but I strive to hold on to it, walking along the thin edge of dignity in the complex world of assisted living. I don't really walk. I'm disabled and in a wheelchair. I use the word metaphorically. I began life in ALF in 2006 after a disastrous motor vehicle accident. I was dead at the scene, suffering broken legs and arms, plus other multiple breaks, fractures and burns, and nerves and tendons and such were all affected. I was damaged goods, but I was resuscitated and put back together, sort of. After 9 months, I was rehabilitated, but disabled. As I said, I'm in a wheelchair and only one hand works, not very well. So you see, I need an assisted living facility. People like me depend on the niceness and kindness of other people. I'm glad I've had the opportunity to participate in random acts of kindness by strangers and committed acts of kindness from friends. Here in an ALF, kindness is in the everyday care of a staff of caregivers. They're paid to help. I hope that care is in their hearts. If so, it will be in their help. My need is for doing those simple activities of daily living, those piddling things you never even think about. Take two specific and usually ordinary and seemingly insignificant actions. A cup of water is poured for me and set on the counter. A glass usually would be suitable, but my fingers can't spread to go around a glass. Ordinarily, I'd reach out for the cup, grasp it by one of its handles, and drink. Now that I'm seated in a wheelchair, below the counter, if the cup isn't placed close to the edge, I can't reach it. And since the fingers of my left hand are stiffly immobile and curved into a partial fist, if the cup handle isn't accessible to or handed to my right hand, I'm unable to grasp the cup. No drink. Another incidental and habitual action. My glasses need to be cleaned. A caregiver wipes them for me, closes the temples of the frame over their lenses, and lays the glasses on a table or desktop. I have to pick up the glasses with my right hand, spread apart the temples by grasping the left temple with my teeth, balance the frame on my thigh, raise the right temple with my right hand, and slip the tilted frame over my eyes. Better for the person who cleans my glasses not to close the temples over the lenses, as is ordinarily done. It's unnerving not to be able to do what I need when the moment for doing is now. I'm frustrated and discomforted when help isn't there, when there's an urgency. I have to pee. No one comes. I have to have my coat put on. My ride is here. The caregiver isn't. I need to recover my glasses that fell. I can't see without them. Where are you? The worst is when I'm left sitting on the toilet for more than 15 minutes. I hesitatingly get up and put a towel on the cushion of my wheelchair. With my briefs and pants clinging to my ankles, I shuffle in my wheelchair to the hallway and shout for service. Usually someone hears and finds a caregiver to rescue me and give me the wipe I need. If you've lived an independent life as I did, and have an independent spirit as I still do, it's hard to get used to ALF life. When I first became 108 in 2006, I discovered the rigid time synchronization of this life. The previous 108, the person who had lived in the room before me, had posted reminders of her eating times on the door of her refrigerator. Breakfast is at 8, and morning caregivers scurry around, making sure that everyone is in their place in the dining room. Lunch is at noon, more hustle and bustle to get residents seated. And supper at 5, when evening caregivers push you along. There was an order to things, no happenstance, managed dining. When I've been away from the ALF and ready to return, working out at my fitness center or finishing my volunteer time at an elementary school, and I'm waiting for the bus which transports the elderly and disabled, I start to stress if the driver is late and I might not get back in time. I know when I return the caregivers will be busy getting residents into the dining room. I'll need to break into the helter-skelter of their getting residents in their places. I have to be taken to the bathroom, washed, and redressed. While I'm waiting for my ride, I worry I won't make it to the ALF in time for the caregivers to get me before the designated meal time. In the afternoon, I usually go to coffee with friends. Just when the conversation is warming up, I sense that it's time to leave the coffee house. It's the same anxious feeling I had in the morning, to be back, to have a caregiver available to take my coat off, to take me to the toilet, wash me up, before I'm lost in the scurry of shuttling residents to their place. Nights can be even more stressful. I often have a chance to go to dinner with friends, to movies or concerts or lectures, activities that are only held at night. But shower time is usually at 8:30. 9 o'clock is stretching it. I fret over the time instead of enjoying the event. I may even reject the invitation to go out, weighing the opportunity to have fun with being assisted in something I once was able to do myself anytime I wanted. That's time management, an integral product of the synchronized living of an ALF. Speaking of showering, that's one of the long-term care industry's activities of daily living, or ADLs. If needed assistance in a minimum of 2 ADLs, you're eligible to live in an ALF. How about those acronyms? I'm deficient in the minimum of 2 ADLs and then some. It's enough to cost me over $4,700 a month to live here. Research shows that bathing, toileting, and dressing are the most needed ADLs. I get help with each. Together, they make the thin edge of dignity hard not to fall over, especially when I'm taken to the bathroom. Using the toilet is one of those personal intimacies that I share with a caregiver. After she pulls down my pants and jockey briefs, I purposely avoid wearing button zipper belt pants to simplify the process. I can't stand in front of the toilet and maneuver my hands and fingers to make the needed extraction. So I sit to urinate. The caregiver waits. I pee. She pulls up my briefs and pants. That's okay. The mature woman will try to wipe off the head of my penis with toilet paper. That's less okay. A bowel movement can be emotionally degrading. After finishing, I rise from the toilet, grasp the handicap bar to the side. I turn my back to the caregiver and bend over, legs astraddle. I feel the cold, moistened wipe as the caregiver wipes me. Then a further wipe with dry toilet paper. I feel isolated and uncomfortable, just standing in place, my back to the caregiver, waiting for the wipes. Taking a shower includes being undressed and this intimate waste processing. After being wiped, I'm undressed. Uncovered and vulnerable in my nakedness, I sit on the shower bench, my hands folded on my thigh. I shiver, waiting for the caregiver to turn on the water. I think about the Nazi strategy of stripping prisoners before interrogation. Images flash through my mind of the humiliation of Abu Ghraib in the Iraq War. Far-fetched, of course, but the images appear, the thoughts occur. Then the warm water rains down. When I was being put back together in the hospital after my accident, my children fixed up my house and sold it. They realized that I couldn't live alone and that I needed long-term care, or LTC. As we've seen, the health industry, like the military, has an acronym for everything. The decision was made. I would be placed in an assisted living facility, ALF. I was in no mental condition, all that oxycodone, to deliberate the options. So one afternoon in March 2006, my son pushed me through the doors of an ALF. After greetings with handshakes and nice to meet yous, I looked around. I saw a long hallway and closed doors, people standing or milling around, announcements on a corkboard, numbers on a panel of mailboxes, a huge room filled with tables and chairs. All of it's going to be my new home. Okay, I'm here, I thought. But exactly where am I? What do I do now that I've become 108? After 8 years, I've got it all figured out. But I still see new people come in, and I wonder how they'll feel when they're put at a table with other residents. If they're lucky, they'll be introduced and asked to stand up in the dining room and face strangers' eyes, try to mumble something polite. The administrator asks everyone to give them a hearty welcome and to applaud their presence. That night, the new resident will sleep in a strange room, maybe in her old bed, all alone for the first time in perhaps more than 50 years.
How'd you sleep?
An okay slips between her lips. It would have been nice if there had been a transition from an active life in the world into a facility. Many people who enter here are swept from their ties with neighbors and other people they knew, with no expectation of the kind of new life that they'll be living. I was fortunate, since I had come to the ALF from a skilled nursing facility. A SNF. Here we go again with acronyms. SNF living was like living here, with rehabilitating residents, nurses, and caregivers. I thought I knew what to expect. But I wasn't prepared to learn that most people residing in here stay in here. They don't go out. My life had been characterized by being out, running, swimming, lifting, bicycling. I had biked all over town all the time. I was known as the guy in the yellow rain suit. I had gone to coffee houses, taking classes, attended meetings, gone to movies and concerts, always on the go, wherever my spirit of independence took me, engaging my physical, intellectual, and creative selves. Sure, each facility has activities and minimal exercise, only not what I was used to, nor wanted. The activities here appear to fill the time, like a trip to Kmart or Safeway, a ride in the country sealed in a bus. But my dissatisfaction is me. I can't speak for others. I choose to live in the world outside the ALF. Most residents choose, or have no choice, to stay. This is their environment. They're in all day, except for doctor visits. This is especially true for those with Alzheimer's and dementia. My wife had Alzheimer's. She didn't need assistance. She needed care and was in a facility which specialized in caring for her. What I saw in her Alzheimer's dementia facility, I also see here in an ALF. People who just sit in the same chairs throughout the day, people who talk to themselves, who aimlessly meander the halls or stand still, waiting for a caregiver to show them where to go. Even those who walk away from the facility. It's not a healthy, vital atmosphere to absorb. Thank goodness it's not catching. But in a sense, it can be. And hanging out is not just exhibited by the residents who live in the fog of dementia. Even those who are cognizant and have mobility close themselves in their rooms until meals calls. Where's the energy, I wonder? Where's the productive life? It's not in bingo or Yahtzee. These activities fill waiting time until death. Am I unique to avoid them? Do others in the ALF have longings to explore away from here? Can we not provide for residents who want to do something in and for the outside community? These questions could be answered if there were a welcoming band of brothers to greet new residents. The analogy is the old-fashioned community welcome wagon, a group of residents who would provide personal interaction between current residents and a newcomer. The newbie wouldn't have to search out people to meet or be stuck with those at the table she's been put at. The ALF wouldn't be a strange, mystifying confinement. Meeting one like ourselves could make newcomers feel at home. In these several minutes, I've tried to summarize my feelings of the experience of living in an ALF. It's not been a happy or content time. There's always that itch to live as I did before. I'm not psychologically ready to live institutionalized. Physically, I am. That's why while living in an ALF, I've engaged in the outside world. I teach, volunteer, write, take courses, work out. I pursue acts of giving back to society. I think that's what one who is living long, like me, should do. It's been said that it takes a village to raise a child. The unspoken corollary is that it takes a village to accompany the elders on the final journey of life. But in today's fragmented and mobile society, families no longer live together in a single household. Once it took a village. Today it takes an ALF.